Thanks for tuning into Military Spouse Chow, where you will learn easy, fun, and tasty recipes. Please don't forget to join me on my Facebook at Military Spouse Chow. Hey everyone, it's a beautiful Sunday here in Hawaii, and today for my Sunday dinner I'm going to be cooking a chuck roast. And so my chuck roast is going to have onions, carrots, green peppers, and some awesome seasoning. So I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe because it's a favorite of my family's, and if my husband was here I bet he would enjoy the recipe as well. So let's go into the recipe on how to make a chuck roast with roasted potatoes. So first thing we want to do is get a browning on the outside of our chuck roast. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil to a pot and let it come to a good heat so that we can add the roast. And so you want to cover your roast with some salt and pepper before you put it into the pot to get a browning on the skin. So let's let that come to a heat that we want. In the meantime, this is the roast that I have right here, and so I'm going to put some salt and pepper over the top of it. And make sure you put a good amount because the roast just sucks up all of that seasoning. So let's add salt, and we're gonna add some pepper over the top of it. And again, as I stated before, add a good amount of it because again that roast is gonna soak up all of that flavor. And so you want to keep your stove at a medium heat so that it gets a good browning skin on that roast. So I've taken the roast and it is cooling off there on my platform, as you can see here in the background. And so to the pot I'm going to add some onions so that they can get a little bit of brown, and some carrots that will go in the bottom of the roast. So as you can see, I sliced my onions, and we just want to get light, let them cook lightly to the same pot that the roast was cooking in. It absorbs all of those flavors, and so it just makes them a little bit more yummier later on in our dish. So you're gonna let the carrots and the onions come to a little bit of a browning. And it just smells so delicious already. All of these vegetables mixed together inside the pot. Okay, so the vegetables have been cooking a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a small amount of some leftover peppers that I had from my other dish. And so it's just, again, it's just going to make the dish a little bit, or taste a lot better. And to this, I'm again going to season it with a little bit of salt. Dash of chopped garlic. So again, all of this is just building the flavors for that roast. Let that cook for another 2 minutes, and then come back and we'll start putting everything together in the pan where the chuck roast will be cooking in the oven. So as you can see, my vegetables are still cooking. I don't want them to burn, but I do want them to come to a browning, and so it's taking a little bit before I get that. And so I've added salt, pepper, and some garlic to this mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and add some bay leaves, because again, bay leaves is just another component that gives a lot of flavor to my roast when I'm cooking it. Okay, so here we are. Everything that I need to put into my pot roast has been cooking, and so we're gonna go ahead and start putting everything into my pan that's gonna roast my chuck. And so what we want to add first is our wonderful vegetables that have been cooking. So we're gonna add the vegetables first, and again, those are onions, leftover red, orange, and yellow bell peppers that I had, and some mini baby carrots that I've sliced through the middle and diagonally, and so those have been seasoned already. So on top of the vegetables, you want to add that awesome chuck that was cooking on the pan. And then we have our McCormick Slow Cooker Savory Pot Roast Seasoning. Awesome seasonings in this, and this is going to give great flavor to that roast. And so you're going to freely put that seasoning over your roast. And sorry for covering that, but you're going to freely put that over your roast on top. And if you can flip it over and do the same process, that would be great. So don't put everything over the roast, because you also want to put some over your potatoes that are going to go alongside this awesome, delicious, delectable roast. And so see, it's freely been seasoned with awesome flavors. And so we're going to add our potatoes. And what I did to these potatoes that are going to go alongside our roast is I sliced it with my slicer that I just got, and it gave me these awesome potatoes shapes that are going to be awesome for the roast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them alongside of the roast freely. Doesn't have to be awesome, but I just love making my dishes look appetizing when I cook them. So you're just gonna lay them around the roast. And again, this is just a one dish dinner, something that we all love. Who loves cleaning all of those dishes after dinner? I know I don't. And so you're just gonna freely layer all those potatoes around your roast. And as it cooks, all those juices from the roast, all those juices from the vegetables and the seasoning I've put on is gonna, those potatoes are gonna absorb those flavors. And so that's what you want. And so we're gonna finish covering everything with that seasoning. Again, it is the savory pot roast seasoning by McCormick. So we've added that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up and top it all over with Montreal steak seasoning by McCormick as well, just to make sure that everything has great flavor. And as you can see, I'm pretty freely putting this on here. You can use as much or as little as you like. I like my roast with a lot of seasoning, so I'm gonna go ahead and add as much as I like on there. And so the last thing that's gonna finish up this roast is going to be 2 cans of beef broth. So there we have it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it and cover it with aluminum foil. Put it in the oven for about 2 hours without messing with it. And I am going to go ahead and put it at 350 degrees for those 2 hours. So come back. So there we have it. The roast is gonna go in the oven for about 2 hours. And we're not gonna touch it, we're not gonna open it, we're not gonna mess with it. We're just gonna leave it there for 2 hours and come back and see if it is juicy and ready to be eaten. So here's the pot roast. I pulled it out of the oven, and as you can see, the meat is just coming apart. Thanks for tuning into Military Spouse Chow, where you will learn easy, fun, and tasty recipes. Please don't forget to join me on my Facebook at Military Spouse Chow.